Well, howdy. A question landed in my inbox that got my gears turning. It was a simple one, really. Could a fellow build something substantial, something with real heft, using nothing but glue? No screws, no nails, no fancy metal brackets hidden away, just wood and the sticky stuff that holds it together. A lot of you seem to think it was a fool's errand. You said it might work for a small box or a picture frame, but for a piece of furniture you could actually use? You had your doubts. And I have to admit, that's the kind of challenge that makes a person want to head straight for the wood shop. Your skepticism was the spark. Many of you wrote in, asking to see it done. You wanted proof that a bond of pure adhesive could stand up to the real world. You wanted to see us go bigger than we ever have before, to push the limits of what glue alone can handle. It's one thing to trust a glued joint to hold a drawer bottom in place. It's another thing entirely to trust it to hold the entire structure together, especially when that structure has to bear weight and withstand the bumps and scrapes of daily life. This wasn't just about making something pretty, it was about making something strong. So, we decided to answer the call. We set our sights on a project that would be impossible to ignore. Something with size, with presence, and with a purpose that demanded unwavering strength. I won't spoil the surprise just yet, but let's just say it's the kind of furniture that doesn't just occupy a room, it commands it. The kind of piece where, if a joint were to fail, you wouldn't just be sweeping up splinters, you'd be reevaluating your life choices. This build would be the ultimate test, a true showdown between doubt and the incredible, often underestimated power of a good glue-up. The idea of building with only glue isn't new, of course. Woodworkers have been doing it for centuries, but the scale of this undertaking felt different. It felt like we were taking a trusted, age-old technique and asking it to perform on a modern, supersized stage. We weren't just sticking a few boards together. We were engineering a load-bearing structure, piece by piece, where every single connection relied solely on a chemical bond. The question lingered in the air, thick as sawdust. Would the glue hold, or would we end up with a very large, very expensive pile of firewood? Let's find out. Now, you can't just grab any old white glue from a school classroom and expect it to hold a behemoth together. Choosing the right adhesive is half the battle. For a project of this magnitude, you need a glue with some serious backbone. We're talking about modern wood glues, specifically PVA, polyvinyl acetate, glues, or, for even more muscle, polyurethane adhesives. These aren't your grandpa's hide glue, though that stuff is respectable in its own right. Modern glues are engineered to create a bond that is, quite literally, stronger than the wood itself. When a properly glued joint breaks, it's the wood fibers that tear apart, not the glue line. To find our champion, we had to run some tests. We took several leading brands of wood glue and put them through the ringer. We glued up sample blocks of the same wood we planned to use for the big build. In this case, some good, honest white oak. Then, we did our best to destroy them. We tried pulling them apart, whacking them with a mallet, and even subjecting them to changes in humidity to see if the bond would weaken. Some glues were good, but one or two were exceptional, showing incredible resistance to every kind of stress we could dream up. But the glue is only one part of the equation. The other is the joint itself. A simple butt joint, where two flat ends are just pushed together, is the weakest link. It relies entirely on the glue's surface adhesion. For real strength, you need to increase the surface area and create a mechanical lock. That's where joinery like the mortise and tenon comes in. By cutting a hole, the mortise in a corresponding tongue, the tenon, you create a massive amount of long grain to long grain glue surface. This is the prime real estate for a strong bond, and it's what gives glue-only furniture its hidden, internal fortitude. We experimented with different joint designs, tweaking the dimensions of our mortises and tenons. We wanted a fit that was snug, but not so tight that it squeezed out all the glue when we put it together. Too loose, and you get a weak, gappy bond. Too tight, and you risk a starved joint with no adhesive left to do its job. After a few rounds of prototyping, we settled on a precise fit that felt just right. A perfect handshake between two pieces of wood, ready to be made permanent with our chosen champion of the glues. With our glue selected and our joints designed, the real work could begin. The first step in any quality build is preparing the lumber. You can have the best glue in the world, but it won't do you any good if your wood is twisted or bowed. Every single board for this project was run through the jointer and the planer. This process, called milling, ensures that every face is perfectly flat and every edge is perfectly square. This precision is non-negotiable. For a glue joint to achieve maximum strength, the two mating surfaces must meet perfectly, with no gaps. Next came the cutting and shaping of the joinery. This required intense focus and careful measurement. We used a combination of saws and chisels to create the dozens of mortises and tenons that would form the skeleton of our furniture. Each tenon was cut to fit its specific mortise. We dry fitted the entire piece together, piece by piece, without a single drop of glue. This dry run is crucial. It allows you to find and fix any problems with the fit before things get sticky. Once we were certain everything went together just as planned, we took it all apart again, ready for the final assembly. The glue-up itself is a race against time. Wood glue has a limited open time, which is the window you have before it starts to set. For a large, complex piece, this can be nerve-wracking. We worked methodically, applying an even layer of glue to all mating surfaces of a joint before bringing them together. A small brush helped ensure complete coverage. Then came the clamps. Oh, the clamps. For a project this size, you need an army of them. We used heavy-duty bar clamps to apply immense, even pressure, squeezing the joints tight and forcing out any excess glue. This is where patience becomes your most important tool. Once the piece was assembled and buried under a mountain of clamps, the waiting began. The glue needed to cure, a chemical process where the bond reaches its full, unbreakable strength. This takes more than just a few hours. We let the piece sit under pressure for a full 24 hours, undisturbed, in a climate-controlled shop to ensure a slow, steady cure. After the clamps came off, we let it rest for several more days before daring to move it. Only then could we begin the final sanding and finishing that would make it ready for its debut. The moment has arrived. After all the planning, testing, and patient waiting, I present to you a massive, solid white oak workbench. It stands over 6 feet long, 3 feet deep, and is built like a fortress. And remember, there is not a single screw, nail, or bolt anywhere in its construction. Every single joint, from the thick legs connected by sturdy stretchers to the massive laminated top, is held together by nothing more than the cured film of wood glue. The smooth, clean lines are uninterrupted by any metal hardware, giving it a unique, almost sculptural appearance that celebrates the wood itself. But does it look strong, or is it strong? That's the real question. To answer that, we decided to put it to the test. First, we loaded the top with hundreds of pounds of dead weight, sacks of concrete, anvils, and every heavy object we could find in the shop. The bench didn't groan, it didn't creak, it didn't even seem to notice. Next, a few of us got on top and did a little celebratory jig. Still nothing. For the final test, we gave it a few solid shoves from the side, trying to rack it. It was like trying to move a boulder. The glue-only joints held firm, transferring the force through the structure as if it were carved from a single block of wood. The beauty of this kind of construction is in its quiet strength. The connections are internal, hidden from view, creating a seamless and organic look. This allows the design to focus purely on form and the natural grain of the wood, without the need to accommodate screw heads or bolt holes. The lines can be cleaner and more elegant, even on a piece as brutish and functional as a workbench. This is furniture that doesn't shout about how it's made. It just stands there, confident in its own integrity. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes the strongest connections are the ones you can't see. So I encourage you to give it a try. Start with something small if you're new to it, but don't be afraid to trust the glue. With the right preparation and the right technique, you can build things that are not only beautiful but will last for generations. And now I turn it back to you. What should we build next? A glue-only dining table for 10? A four-poster bed? Let your imagination run wild and share your ideas. Let's see how far we can push the humble, mighty power of glue. Go make some sawdust.